If the Midwest has a crown jewel, it is right here in Michigan. There's a reason why one of our cities ranked the 4th best in the Midwest by the USA Today. Today, I'm going to be ranking some of the worst and best towns in northern Michigan. Now, don't get me wrong, each one of these towns all have something to offer, and this is just the list I came up with myself. Now, everybody will have a qualifier of what makes something the best town or the worst town, and these are mine. And if you stick around until the end, I'll tell you all about one of the towns that made it to the top of some of the big USA Today rankings. So let's take a look at the best and worst towns in northern Michigan. We're kicking things off with a town that is pretty peaceful, but comes with a catch. If you're somebody that enjoys both being by yourself and a slower, laid-back lifestyle, then you're going to love Ellsworth, Michigan. However, while there are a lot of positives, there is a reason that Ellsworth made it to the bottom of my list. If you're not familiar, Ellsworth is a very small rural town located in Antrim County. It sits in the northern Lower Peninsula, located between Central Lake and East Jordan. It's a good choice if you're looking to leave behind the chaos of big cities, but I mean really leave behind the chaos of big cities. This town has very few amenities and activities, and it is about as rural as you can get, which means you have to be fully on board with living a very simple lifestyle, which is something most people can't wrap their head around. There is a noticeable lack of shopping, restaurants, and really any entertainment options. However, if this sounds like something you actually might be interested in, I'm here to tell you that Ellsworth is one of the most affordable towns in northern Michigan to live in, with an average sale price of just over $288,000, which is a half or even a third of some other areas. If you don't mind the lack of amenities and you don't mind being away from entertainment options, Ellsworth could actually be a great fit for you. In fact, one of my favorite hole-in-the-wall bars in northern Michigan is actually located in Ellsworth. If you ever make it through there, make sure you check out the Gold Nugget. Keep in mind, Ellsworth isn't the only affordable place in northern Michigan. So if you're willing to spend a little bit more money to get a few more amenities, then there might be another area that you would love to live in. And I don't want to be too hard on Ellsworth. It could be a great place to live for the right person. It's just not everyone's cup of tea. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you never miss one of our videos. I create a new video every week to tell you exactly what it's like to live in northern Michigan. If you're thinking about moving to northern Michigan, these videos are going to save you hours of research, and I truly put them out to make your home buying process a lot easier. Now, since this is northern Michigan, what if you want a town that has both stunning waterfront views, but also a lower cost of entry? Let's move up the list to a town that offers just that. Now, if you're familiar with northern Michigan, or you've been watching my channel for a while, you're probably more than familiar with both Charlevoix and Petoskey. But did you know there's actually a small town called Bayshore, located just about halfway between Petoskey and Charlevoix? Bayshore is a small, quaint community located in Charlevoix County. It sits along the shores of Lake Michigan and also the Little Traverse Wheelway. And as I said before, just like Charlevoix and Petoskey, Bayshore also has some tremendous waterfront views. You might have considered this place if you've looked for a place to live on the water, and if you're a retiree or looking for a slower pace of life, yet still being on the water, Bayshore may be perfect for you. Given the lack of job opportunities in Bayshore, unless you're somebody that's willing to drive a fair distance to work every day, Bayshore is more suited for retirees than somebody in the working class. However, I will say, one of my good friends and CrossFit coach, Kenny Provost, as well as his wife, Heidi, both work in Petoskey and Charlevoix while living in Bayshore, and have told me the commute does get a little bit old, but isn't that bad. Also, the infrastructure around Bayshore is very limited, so if you're looking for a lot of amenities or things to do nearby, Bayshore probably isn't right for you. It's really just a sign showing you that you've entered Bayshore, and if you didn't know, you would drive right through it. However, if you value peace and quiet while still having stunning views, Bayshore is perfect for you. Both Ellsworth and Bayshore are two of the lesser known towns in the area, but could be perfect for the right person. Just keep in mind, those particular lifestyles just might not be for everyone. And something we talk about in a lot of our videos is determining which town in northern Michigan is best for you really comes down to the type of lifestyle you want to live while living here. There's another town that I would consider a middle ground between Bayshore and Ellsworth. Also, make sure you stick around to the end of the video where we talk about the top places in northern Michigan to live. The next town we're going to talk about does have a little bit more in terms of community and things to do, but still has plenty of room to grow. This town is Central Lake. Central Lake is also located in Antrim County, right near Intermediate Lake. It is part of the chain of lakes which is made up of several connected lakes in the area. Of course, with the chain of lakes, that means great opportunities for boating, swimming, and fishing. While Central Lake is in Antrim County, if you're looking at a map, you'll notice that it's just a little bit south of Ellsworth. Central Lake, similar to Bayshore, also is a great place to look if you're looking for tremendous water views. However, despite Central Lake being beautiful, it is still rural enough that you're going to be lacking a lot of the amenities of some of the larger towns. Sure, there's still more to do in Central Lake than there would be in, let's say, Ellsworth or Bayshore, but still not nearly as much to do as Gaylord, Petoskey, or Traverse City. Overall, if you love waterfront living and want to be part of a little bit bigger community, Central Lake could be perfect for you. We're slowly moving up the list to our next town, and this one got a little bit of a higher spot just based on how conveniently located it is. You get a little bit of everything, and while it's not the biggest place on earth, it is still a solid choice. The next town is Ballier. Ballier is also located in Antrim County. If you're looking on a map, it is southeast of Central Lake. This whole town is surrounded by natural beauty, including forests and waterfront. And believe it or not, we've actually reached a town on this list that has a great downtown. There's also a ski resort in Ballier called Shanty Creek, which has great golfing and skiing. I think it's clear why Ballier ranked a little bit higher on the list than Ellsworth, Bayshore, and Central Lake. There's simply more to do. Also, I believe that Ballier is still one of the best affordable choices in northern Michigan, with the average price coming in right around $315,000. And even though compared to other areas, the average sale price in Ballier is still a lot lower, you get a lot of bang for your buck. I'd say Ballier is a great mix between the small town feel, yet having access to amenities. It's great for both families, retired people, and anyone wanting to enjoy the outdoors. Okay, we're heading to the top 3 now, and before I tell you who wins the bronze medal, I'd love to hear what your favorite northern Michigan town is. Please drop a comment below and let me know which northern Michigan town you rank the best. With that out of the way, here's a town that is not only a boater's paradise, but has one of my favorite downtowns in all of northern Michigan, Boyne City. Boyne City is located on the shores of Lake Charlevoix, making it a boater's dream come true. Boyne City is a very active place with a vibrant downtown that has tons of events throughout the year. That's why families love it here, and if you add to the fact that Boyne City has a great educational system, if you're thinking about relocating to northern Michigan and schools are important to you, you're going to want to consider Boyne City. Now, having grown up here, I remember when I was younger, Boyne City wasn't the Boyne City we know it is today. It used to be a much slower place with a lot less to do. And I don't know whether it was the local city officials or people gambling on putting their businesses in Boyne City, but over the last 5 to 10 years, Boyne City has really become one of the pinnacles of northern Michigan and one of the most desirable places for people to live. However, given the demand, it does mean that it's going to be a little bit more expensive to live in Boyne City than the other 3 areas we mentioned. In fact, the average sale this year has been right around $378,000, which, oh, by the way, is still much lower than places like Petoskey or Harbor Springs. It is a little bit higher than some of the other places that we've talked about today. Now, as we move closer to the top of the list, we're going to start talking about towns that are the best of the best in northern Michigan. And if you want exclusivity in northern Michigan, you're going to want to make sure you consider the next town. When people think about quintessential northern Michigan living in the summer, it's hard to look any further than Harbor Springs. Since the beginning of time, Harbor Springs has been one of the communities where wealthy resorters have flocked in the summertime. But with the increasing ability to work from home, Harbor Springs has actually become a little bit more of a year-round community. Harbor Springs is on the northern part of Little Traverse Bay, which gives it tremendous water views and an ideal location. The downtown is filled with boutique stores and great restaurants. One of the things that is interesting about Harbor Springs is not only does it draw wealthy people, it also draws people who love the outdoors. Whether they want to bike along the Little Traverse Wheelway or ski at Nubs or Boyne Highlands in the wintertime, Harbor Springs is filled with people who love to live the active lifestyle. In fact, there's even a running club that just opened right downtown. Now, while you can find some affordable houses in Harbor Springs starting just over $400,000, plan to spend a decent amount of money if you want to live in Harbor Springs. In fact, there have been a couple of sales that have exceeded $5 million in Harbor Springs this year. So if you're looking for a mix of luxury and a small town feel, you're going to love Harbor Springs. And finally, we can look at the top spot. I think you've probably saw this one coming if you've watched my videos before, but the town that I think deserves the top spot as the best town in northern Michigan is Petoskey. Petoskey just has a great mix of everything you want to live in northern Michigan all in one place. It has the small town feel, it has a little bit of luxury, and it has access to all the amenities that you need to live a comfortable lifestyle in northern Michigan. It also has a lot of nature, the bike path, and also great waterfront views. In fact, it is the 4th best small city in the entire country, according to the USA Today. One of the things that I personally love about living in Petoskey is the different versions of Petoskey that there are. You could buy a big expensive house on the water in Bay Harbor, or you can have a quaint cottage in the woods and everything in between. Given the size with how big Petoskey is, there is truly something for everyone here. One thing that I personally love about Petoskey is given the different styles of living, it brings a very diverse group of people. I always joke with my friends that when you're walking down the sidewalk in Petoskey, everybody looks the same, meaning you could actually be walking past the CEO of a major company or somebody that's been retired for 20 years and you wouldn't know the difference because everybody is living the laid back Petoskey lifestyle in the summer. Now, believe it or not, even though Petoskey has gotten much more expensive over the last 5 or 6 years, there are still some affordable options. They're just a little bit fewer and far between. I recently sold a friend of mine a house on the corner of Division and Mitchell, which is a great spot in Petoskey, for just a little over $300,000. Now, this was their starter house and it did need some work, but this is a place they can make their own and build a ton of equity, which will pay off for them in the future. There you have it. There is my list of the best and worst places to live in northern Michigan. And one thing that may surprise you if you're unfamiliar with northern Michigan is just how varied it is here. Keep in mind, the places we talked about today are all geographically pretty close together. And I think it's really interesting that even though judging by location, they are all very similar, when it comes to lifestyle, they could not be more different. That's why when you're considering relocating to northern Michigan, you should make sure you speak with an agent that knows the area. That way they can guide you to what suits your needs, what's going to fit your lifestyle, and what is going to allow you to live your version of northern Michigan. And I say this every video, but I've helped over 600 families either buy or sell in northern Michigan. And if you are interested in knowing more about any of these towns or any of the other towns in northern Michigan that we didn't talk about, please reach out to me directly at 231-487-6141. And if you're interested in learning more about Petoskey or Harbor Springs, make sure you watch this video where I compare living in the two towns. Both of these towns are obviously amazing, and if you want to learn more about them, click right here.